This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hour number 4 of VSiN PrimeTime. Alongside Will Hill, I'm Tim Murray. Got a game wrapped up on the ice, closing seconds or closing minute or so of Houston and Golden State. I think at this point we can say, well done, Mr. Hill. Well done. Great angle by you as you hit some unders on Steph Curry, on Jimmy Butler. Got a little weird, got a little awkward, but ultimately the scrubs stay in the game for Golden State. The Rockets had to put their starters back in. They are reinserting the bench squad, are the Rockets, with 1:43 to go. My bet is toast, unfortunately, and the Golden State Warriors will cover the second half number, it seems, barring some shenanigans here. Hopefully the backups can get there. But well done by you. I was unable to, there's a lot of advantages to living in this state. I love it, and the opportunities we have to bet, and limits, et cetera, all that. But we did not have in-game player props. At least I didn't see any. Maybe there was a shot. Maybe BetMGM did. I'm not sure. But you were able to nail them, and well done by you to get those in-game player. Oh, my God. This is insane. I'm sorry. I'm just so enamored by the disaster that is the Rockets bench squad. They're horrible.
Some of these guys on the Rockets, some of these backups, I might not tell them when the flight leaves for Golden State for Game 6. I might just leave them behind or let them walk there. This has been really bad. Yeah, I'm sure if you put out a tweet and say, hey, I'm in Vegas, any books that you guys know of that offer live player props, I'm sure all the books out there, I would think a few had to have it.
I would think so. The quick glance that I made, the shops that I looked at did not, but I would imagine, I think BetMGM probably did. I just didn't pull up their app in time. So that's on me, but a good hit by you as that will come home. And I know you sent me the ticket, a nice little 11-1 in-game under parlay on Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. And look, that's the beauty, right, of in-game betting and watching it and knowing the situation. And this wasn't exactly how that game at Memphis played out, but I think you and I kind of picked up on the scenario, knowing, all right, up 3-1, Jimmy Butler's already missed a game due to injury, Steph Curry's aging, they're not coming back in this game, let's pull the starters, and that's exactly what they did. In totality, Steph Curry plays 23 minutes, Buddy Hield plays 18 minutes, and Draymond plays 18. Jimmy Butler's going to finish with 8 points, Steph with 13, Buddy Hield with 4, Podziemski with 8, so unders galore if you looked at the Golden State Warriors starting lineup.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of that, if you wanted to get find any book that offered Pat Spencer overs and Kevin Knox overs, you had yourself a nice little score because those guys basically turned into Kobe and Shaq the last 12 minutes of this game. Just crazy.
Moses Moody out there getting buckets. Moses Moody's got 19 points. Pat Spencer, by the way, got ejected. So 11 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, and an ejection. That is a hell of a night for Pat Spencer, who finishes up with 11 points in the game. So 123-107. The Rockets will cover the pre-flop number. Man, talk about a total that got absolutely blown out of the water as this number was 203, and we're at 230 points right now here.
Yeah, and the Warriors still 16-point game. They're still pressing. Is that a foul? It's just very, very strange. Usually games like this, when you call off the Dogs, you know what, we'll see in Game 6, but they are, I wonder if this is intentional by Kerr to just, hey, bother them, press them, foul them. Maybe you incite something here, just get in their head or, get one of these guys for Golden State involved in something. Because this is not usually how blowouts play out. Blowouts usually, one team calls off the Dogs, the other team complies. Now, the totals can get tricky. Sometimes we talked about this a little bit earlier. You just assume, blowout, the game's going to die, it's going to go under. Sometimes it turns into open gym and the game soars over.
This game is just hilarious. The Rockets just made a free throw, and I don't know who inbounded it. I think it might have been I don't know if it was Moses, chucked the ball down the court and it goes out of bounds.
Gonna kill a cheerleader or something. I mean, where are you throwing the ball?
Oh, man. 120. Get that three. Okay. Nothing worse than hope. 20-point game right now. They're going to have to shoot the ball a couple of times. So there's that'll do it. Moses, a.k.a. Trash Jordan. Moses Moody buries a three. 127 to 100 right now. So you're going to get your bets home. I am not, unfortunately, as the bench squad for the Golden State Warriors takes care of business and gets them the second half cover. All right, updates from the ice before we get a couple final thoughts on the Lakers and Minnesota Timberwolves as we're seeing late money come in on the Los Angeles Lakers. This is comical. Kevin Knox, man. What he could have been, right? Wasn't he drafted by the
Knicks? Had a great summer league.
Yeah,
2018 or 19, was that the year they missed out on Zion? They had to settle for Kevin Knox? I think it was. Might have been the year after.
Kevin Knox out here throwing down dunks, getting three-point plays, man. But the Washington Capitals have moved on. They are a winner earlier tonight, so the Caps get that victory. They were around a minus 190 favorite on the money line. Under does cash there. The Florida Panthers have taken a 5-3 lead, so they're looking to wrap up that series against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then the first period under cashes in Winnipeg as 1-1 the score between the Jets and the Blues as there is 12 and a half minutes to go in that one. And that series even up at 2 games apiece. So the final seconds ticking off here. The Rockets will get the 130 to 113 victory. We'll see if they put up a bucket here. And once again, well done, sir. You can now cash that parlay 11 to 1. What do you want to reiterate? What is happening? We've got dudes. This game is just ridiculous.
Like a Pac-12 after dark game. Yeah, and I mentioned these all in there as this was unfolding here. Curry under 21.5, and then I rebet it under 22.5. At halftime, Curry under 7.5 assists. Butler under 4.5 assists. He ends with 2, and Butler under 5.5 rebounds. He ends with 5. And of course, as my sick brain thinks it over, I was like, man, should have pressed a little bit more and just found more markets because I had a feeling that the plug would get pulled here.
Yeah, that was a great call by you, and this thing's going to be over. And then we're going to get Lakers and T-Wolves, so late money coming in. I got to read you guys the final stat line for Moses Moody. Moses Moody off the bench for the Golden State Warriors. He finished with 25 points. He went 9 of 18 from the field. 25 points. He had 9 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals. It has gone final 113 to 116. The Golden State Warriors won the fourth quarter by 12. So good job by their bench unit and bad bet by me as I should have realized. And I go back to the tweet that Doug Kazarian put out. Ime Udoka kind of got bait and switched here. He put in his backups too soon. And look, I don't know if it'll end up costing them, Will, but the bench squad for the Warriors more than did their job because what ultimately happened? You had to put your starters back in. Amen Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Alfred Şengün, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green all came back into the game in the fourth quarter because this game got a little too close for comfort.
Plus, for whatever momentum is worth, and we can debate whether it's worth something or nothing, you at least put a little seed of doubt. It's not like you lost by 40 and you go into game 6 off of that. You go in with putting a little doubt. Man, my backups didn't play well if I'm Houston. My starters didn't play well against these backups, where at least there's a little bit psychologically, if you believe in that kind of thing, where Golden State finishes strong.
All right, we got the Lakers and T-Wolves coming up here in just a little bit. Let's take a look at the market right now before this game gets going as there was late Laker money coming into the market as the Lakers are a 6.5-point favorite now. So once again, if you look back to the series and where this started, Game 1, Lakers minus 4.5. They lose that game. Game 2, Lakers minus 5.5. That's the lone win. They go to Minnesota. Minnesota, a 4-point favorite at close. Minnesota wins that game. Then game 4 on Sunday, Minnesota goes off as a 2.5-point favorite, and they come back and win it. So in this series, we've seen 3 covers for the Timberwolves in all 3 of their wins. The 94-85 victory for game 2 was a Lakers win. 6.5 now is the number, Will Hill, for the Lakers as this game about to tip off there in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, you missed the boat on the Lakers. I get why the late money's coming in, and the Rockets doing well in one of these similar spots, I guess, is maybe why people are betting the Lakers, or whatever the case is. And be interesting from a player prop standpoint. How much do we see Dalton connect, Gabe Vincent, after the Lakers basically just completely eschewed the bench in the second half? But to me, it's Lakers. Lakers first half, Lakers for the game. I think desperation is something you can't fake. And I think they will have a parade to the free throw line and win comfortably. But you're not getting the best of the number right now if you're taking the Lakers. That's for sure.
Luka Doncic over-under is 32.5 points. LeBron James up to 27.5 points. Anthony Edwards, 28.5 plus money to the over. And reiterating a best bet from Zach Cohen earlier in the show, that is 19.5 for Julius Randle. He likes the over in that one. Hey, just a reminder, there is a great deal going on here at Circa. It's the all-in Circa Las Vegas getaway package, $400, 2-night stay at Circa, $100 dining credit, $100 beverage credit, and a stadium swim daybed. $400, resort fees and taxes included. Go to circalasvegas.com.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We are underway in Los Angeles. The T-Wolves strike first. Julius Randle gets a little fadeaway jumper, and a turnover from Luka Doncic gives Rudy Gobert a bucket. I'll tell you this, as the Lakers turned it over a couple times to start the game, 4-0 lead here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Will Hill, Tim Murray with you. It is VSiN Primetime. Strong start for the Timberwolves, a 6-0 lead. And now if you wanted, you could get the Lakers at -3.5 or -175 on the money line. So a good start here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's so early, but doesn't feel like this one's going to be as easy for the Lakers as it was for the Rockets tonight.
No, and early is important in these elimination games, especially like we saw in the previous game, where if you're the Lakers and you could reverse this, and instead of being down 6-0, you get off to a 16-6 start, 22-10 start, or whatever. Human nature, you wonder if it starts to set in on the other side, where Minnesota, all right, we're up 3-1, we get game 6 at home. You start to put an eye towards the next game, but once you fall behind 6-0, the road team here, the team looking to end the series, can smell blood and say, all right, we got these guys. Let's go for the kill. So bad start for the Lakers. And even though I like the Lakers, there's the flip side of this would be, is there a hangover from the way you lost on Sunday, playing all your guys, blowing a late lead? Did the air come out of the balloon? So only 6-0, and Luka goes to the free throw with a chance to make it 6-2. He makes the first and the second. So 6-2. Still, in the early moments of this game, but an important start. I do think is an early start is important here for these elimination games.
All right, Will, let's play a little. Guess the lines. Game 6, we've got the line out. Rockets winners earlier tonight, 130 to 113, the final score. And Will had a phenomenal ankle on some in-game bets on Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler unders that he was able to cash. Unfortunately, the bench unit for the Rockets not very strong and did not help me out. But we do have a line for Friday in the Bay at the Chase Center. What do we think that line is? Rockets and Warriors Friday night in the Bay.
I'll say the Warriors are favored by 4.
4.5 right now is the number at DraftKings. So a little bit up. So worth noting, Game 3 in the Bay closed Golden State 2, but that was the game without Jimmy Butler.
Good point.
And then Game 4 was 4. So a little bit of a tax, but not too much. right now as the number of this. Worth noting here, I guess we failed to mention this when we saw the starting lineups announced. So the 5 that closed out the game for the Lakers is the starting 5 tonight. So Jackson Hayes, who had that kind of, I don't know, honorary start for the Lakers, no longer.
Cameo.
Like me on senior day from Muhlenberg.
Yes.
Hey, congratulations, you're here for 4 years. Get the hell out. Go back to the bench where you belong. So Jackson Dart not in the starting lineup here, and the Lakers have cut the deficit down to 2. But I'll tell you this, man. One thing about the Lakers, and I know lots of people like to pile on. They're a bit sloppy, and man, they're not shooting the ball all that well here out of the gate. So we'll see if they're able to turn this thing around. But 9-4 the score as Julius Randle. This was the angle that Zach Cohen liked. He liked Julius Randle. He felt like with this small lineup, that there was no answer for the Lakers defensively. And Julius Randle at 25 in Game 4 is already up to 5 points here in this one.
And drew a foul. I couldn't tell. Was that on Luka that he drew the foul?
Let me see.
Both guys kind of got him. Luka got him on the way in. Then
yeah,
it
was on Luka.
Got hit again. Yeah, I thought so. And he got a continuation, got the bucket, and made the free throw. So now 9-4 Minnesota.
Lakers just 1 for 5 from the field to start the game. 1 turnover already. So 9-4 the score right now with the Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll keep our eyes on this one. Once again, in the books, a winner for the Houston Rockets. There will be a Game 6 on Friday night. And looking across the market, looks like market is in agreement right now. It is 4.5 market-wide. The Westgate Superbook, DraftKings, handful of other shops, some offshore shops. Total 204.5. You do wonder, do things tighten up a little bit in a Game 6 back in the Bay after this previous game was, you talk about a game that just blew the total out of the water. 203.5 is where we closed, and we had 247 points tonight between the Warriors and the Rockets.
Yeah, elimination games, teams facing elimination, I would look towards, Game 6, Game 7s, I would usually look towards and under. I just feel like as you get towards the end of the series, the intensity ratchets up. You would know as a former basketball player, do you think as the series goes, the offense figures out the defense and offense becomes easier, or the defense figures out the offense? Hey, we know your plays, we know what you like to run, and offense becomes harder.
I would
go ahead. Latter, but I would guess the latter, but you would probably know better.
Yeah, I would tend to say, worth noting, I never played in the league, so I've never played best of 7 series, but I would say it would be more of the defense starts to figure out the offense a little bit more, and that would be kind of the way I would think of it here. Man, once again, this small lineup right now, and that's 2 fouls on Luka. So 2 fouls right now on Luka as they get Rudy Gobert switched on Luka Doncic, and Luka Doncic now with 2 fouls, and J.J. Redick, who I don't know if you saw the clip, but he got a little testy pregame as someone asked him about his rotations and if he had asked for help at all with his assistants. So Luka Doncic just, 4 minutes into the game here, dealing with 2 fouls.
And it's a catch-22 because if you take them out, this is a 6-point lead with Minnesota shooting free throws. Boy, you don't. What do you do here if you're the coach?
Depth. You got no depth. You just proved that by playing this 5 the entire second half.
Right.
And now you've got 2 fouls for Luka Doncic. So 12-5 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. 7 minutes to go, and Luka Doncic with 2 fouls. It seems like he's going to keep him in. He's going to roll the dice here with Luka Doncic in the game here for the Los Angeles Lakers. So certainly something to keep a close eye on there as a team with limited depth, as we saw on Sunday. They will be playing with their star for a couple. Ooh, Rui Hachimura. I didn't know you had that in you, big fella. Woo. So 12-7 lead right now for the Lakers over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And right now, 4.5-point spread. 2 games tomorrow night. We've got Knicks and Pistons, Nuggets and Clippers. We talked a little bit about Nuggets, Clippers. Haven't spoken a ton about Knicks and Pistons. Pistons at home, laying 2 here. Boy, what an impressive series it's been for Detroit. Or if you want to flip it on its head, you want to say it's been not impressive by the New York Knicks. Do we get a Game 7 between the Knickerbockers and the Pistons? Do the Pistons get it done tomorrow night, Will?
Yeah, as the Lakers rattle off 4 in a row here, so it is now 12-9, but it looks like Minnesota is going to answer with a 3. I like the Pistons. I took the Pistons in 6, 9-1 before the series, then again 12-1 after Game 1. So I was high on the Pistons. Boy, I feel like I deserved better with that ticket. They've had a lead in all 5 games in the fourth quarter. Got the shaky end of a call in Game 4. It's been interesting where nobody since Game 1 has won on the road or won at home. All the road teams have won here, 4-1 for the road teams. I think the Pistons get by. I think the Knicks are starting to wear down a little bit with Brunson, with Hart, with the injuries, playing all these minutes, and I think Detroit is able to get by and force a Game 7, put a little pressure on the Knicks. I still think the Knicks win the series, but I do think we get a Game 7. Do you have any feel for this one?
I'm kind of with you here, and what I'm curious about too is what are we looking at for a series price in Boston, New York? The more I watch this New York team, and I know Jalen Brunson can go off, but
right,
are we looking at a Celtics in 5 situation in the second round here? Like, are we looking at laying 2.5 games? Like,
yeah.
I think there's an opportunity, and I know Boston had a couple of moments in that series or to Orlando. They did lose one of those games. But Tatum's going to get extra time to rest here, especially if this goes 7 and it plays out the way that you think it will. So we have a Game 7 on Saturday night at the Garden. I'm sure that'll be the ABC primetime game. And then you go to Boston. I think the Boston Celtics probably, I wouldn't bet them to sweep, but I think I might lay 2.5 games with the Boston Celtics depending on price. Right now, just comparatively, the Cleveland Cavaliers are plus 120 minus 2.5 games at DraftKings. I mean, do we get a comparable price? Maybe even a little better price because with New York and Boston?
I think we're looking at something in a similar neighborhood.
I think I might lay the 2.5 games if we get that, but who the heck knows? Maybe Detroit makes this thing interesting. -2 is the number there. That's Will Hill. I'm Tim Murray. Got a TV timeout. The Los Angeles Lakers not off to a great start. 15-9. Luka Doncic already with a couple of fouls.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Folks, ProfitX is offering the best odds all baseball season long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states, the first of its kind in the U.S. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against sportsbooks. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download ProfitX today. The code VSIN earned up to 200 in profit cash in your first month. Well, we saw a desperation bump come home with the Houston Rockets. No sweat if you laid it with the Rockets earlier tonight. Not the case in Los Angeles right now, as the Minnesota Timberwolves, ladies and gentlemen, have come ready to play. They want this thing done tonight. And right now, they have a 23-14 lead, and they are an in-game favorite, Will Hill, against the Lakers, as Austin Reeves buries a 3. But man, this has been a sluggish start, to say the least, from the Lakers, 23-14. But let me ask you this right now. As we've watched this game, we got a media timeout, so a little time to decompress and look at it from an in-game angle. Is this the spot that we look at the Lakers, or do we say what we've seen so far is pretty telling of what is to unfold tonight? The Lakers are 1 of 6 from 3, 5 of 14 from the field. Already got 4 turnovers. Luka's got 2 fouls. How would you look at this with a media timeout, 3:18 to go?
Yeah, that was a big three by Reeves, which is funny to say this early in the game, but down 23-11, it kind of stopped the bleeding. I look at this as an advantage to take the Lakers, but that's only because you're making me pick. It's a bad sign when you're in this desperation. When you're in this desperation situation, you expect it to come early, and you jump out in front, and the other team just says, "You know what? We'll see in Game 6," just like the Warriors and Rockets. When you give the team with a chance to close you out, life, hope, a reason to end it, that's a dangerous scenario. And Luka is getting cooked defensively. He's already got 2 fouls, so doesn't play with the most intensity defensively to begin with. And he's very leery here of getting the 3rd foul, which is, and look, I mean, it's justifiable, but he is really a liability defensively right now. What have you seen? What do you think?
I can't recommend the Lakers right now. I'm not saying to jump in on the T-Wolves, but it's 8:42 into this game, Will. But what I'm seeing from the Lakers, a team that, look, has 2 superstars in LeBron and Luka, and they are a combined 3 points, 0 of 5 from the field. Could they get it rolling? Absolutely. But, man, I would need more right now from the Lakers. And I do have a pre-flop bet that I took money line on the Lakers and money line with the Clippers put together. Yeah. But boy, I don't feel great about laying minus 105 right now. If there was some plus money to be had, maybe I would look that way, but I don't know, man. We know the depth is an issue, obviously, for the Lakers. You've seen a couple of bench minutes, but it's just something. I know it's prisoner of the moment, but when Minnesota goes to their bench, DiVincenzo gets buckets. Naz Reid gets buckets. I mean, Nickeil Alexander-Walker already has a corner 3 in this one. I trust the T-Wolves bench. I obviously don't trust the Lakers bench. J.J. Redick doesn't trust his own bench. So you mentioned it already. Is it a situation where those extended minutes are playing into the Lakers a little bit? It feels like it. And I'll say this, man. If the Lakers do win this, you've got, less than 48 hours to turn this thing around to go to Minnesota. And they're already going to be, you could feel it right now. Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, Rui, all these guys are going to play 40-plus minutes tonight.
Yeah, it's a good point. It is putting the cart before the horse to think, oh, man, what about Game 6? But, you're right. You want this ideally to be a rocking chair where, you're pulling your guys middle of the third, late third, early fourth. You're up 23, and you can coast to a victory without putting too many miles on you. And, almost like a pitcher in baseball where you don't want to have to throw all in the 9 innings tonight. You want to be able to throw 6, 7, turn it over to the bullpen, and save some innings for a couple games. Again, you're facing elimination right now, and if things don't go well, you're not playing again until Halloween or whenever the season starts. So, no, but your point is well taken where, big picture here, even if the Lakers are able to rally and win this game, and look, they're only down 9, it's the first quarter, but if they have to struggle to win this game, that makes Minnesota's chances in Game 6, I think, gives them a better chance to win. And what would you think? We're thinking 3 for that game if we're looking at a Game 6 again. Way ahead of ourselves.
Let's see. Yeah, way ahead of ourselves. Game 3 was 4. Yeah. Game 4 was 2.5. Probably 3.5, somewhere in that range.
Do they update series prices in game? I can look.
Right now, DraftKings has this series down. By the way, I saw a foul. I had the eyes up here, and a foul. It is going to be on Dorian Finney-Smith, so it was not the 3rd foul on Luka Doncic. But, man, you're playing with fire right now. Lakers now are plus money on the money line, but like I said, I have a hard time right now recommending to jump in on the Los Angeles Lakers. It sounds stupid. It's the playoffs. Of course, they're ready to go, but you could kind of sense it a little bit from the Warriors tonight. Once they got down, even though their bench played pretty well, you could sense it a little bit. All right, let's just pack it in. Let's go to Game 6. Minnesota ain't packing this thing in, man. No. They're trying to wrap this puppy up tonight.
Which is that's the right mentality to have. Yeah. And I'm sure if you ask Golden State, they wanted to win too. It's just the starts are very important too to set the tone of what kind of night is it going to be. Is this going to be a night where, all right, we can actually win this and close this out, or is this a night where we're looking ahead to to the next game? So long time to go, but not a great start here for the Lakers, to say the least.
Not at all. LeBron James at the free throw line right now, 10-point deficit for the Los Angeles Lakers early on in the first quarter, not fourth quarter, as he misses the first free throw there, does LeBron James. We do have a game at the first intermission in Winnipeg. The Jets and Blues, that series even at 2 games apiece. Jets up 2-1 in that one. We do have a series that will get started on Monday as the Washington Capitals have finished off the Montreal Canadiens, and they will play the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round. Your series price, Hurricanes minus $1.50, Caps plus 130, despite the Caps having home ice there in that series. You know, Will, I know you and I aren't your normal Jonathan Davises out there when it comes to handicapping hockey, but it has been telling all year that the Capitals had this exceptional season, had the best record in the Eastern Conference, and I believe they're like 6th or 7th on the board for Stanley Cup odds, and it's pretty notable here that they are an underdog in the series against the Hurricanes, which starts on Monday night.
Yeah, as Minnesota scores again to go up 27-15, Naz Reid with a bucket. What's another sport equivalent for that? Because I'm trying to think. It reminds me of something. I just can't quite place it, where a team is when in first place all year, been the 1 seed, and they're still the underdog. I feel like it's happened recently. I just can't quite put my finger on it.
Oh, I'm trying to think, because we get this a lot in like college football, and you and I love college football, and I'm usually not the number 1 team. I don't know why this came to mind, and shocking, I'm going to go to a Notre Dame game, but you remember the 2 times this year Notre Dame played Army and Navy, and both were undefeated, and Notre Dame was laying like 14 in both of those games. I don't think that's a fair comparison, but yeah, I mean, it's happened before. You know, maybe in college basketball where you see that situational Saturday where the number 1 team in the country's on the road and catching a couple of points. That happens from time to time. By the way,
I guess maybe now Rockets is a 2 seed. Rockets is a 2 seed being underdog, something like that.
I think that's good. Also, I mean, you think about it too, right? The Nuggets and Clippers series, it was
that's another one.
You know what? It was 2-1 Nuggets. Is that no? It was 2-2 going to Denver, and the Clippers were a pretty significant favorite there. All right, quick update, 29-17. Has not been pretty here. Lakers an underdog in-game, plus 110. We're going to get to our best bets on the other side here of the break. But just a reminder, folks, if you're looking for a new way to feel the rush this Kentucky Derby, First Bet is your front row seat to the fastest 2 minutes in sports and so much more. Bet on the Derby and hundreds of other races every day at firstbet.com. That's the number 1, stbet.com. New users can use the promo code VSiN200 to grab a $200 sign-up bonus. Get ready. The Derby, starts at firstbet.com. 29-19. The Lakers currently down by 10 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you're seeing the bench minutes right now for the Lakers. Will, we'll see how long they can go to this bench as we're getting a little bit of Maxi Kleber.
Yes,
didn't think we'd see
Laker debut.
There you go, Laker debut for Maxi Kleber. 10-point lead for the Minnesota Timberwolves in the final minute. We got some best bets for tomorrow. We'll hit on those before we wrap things up. It is VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It is VSiN Primetime. Got a couple of tweets I want to read. That's Will Hill. I'm Tim Murray. End of the first quarter, 31-22 is the score. And that is Luka Doncic getting fouled at the end of the first quarter to cut that deficit down to 9. Live line at DraftKings, Lakers plus 1.5, even money on the money line. Minus $1.30 for the Timberwolves, minus 1.5 in game. I'll ask you the same question I asked you just a little bit ago, Will, which is, if you had to bet it, which side would you bet right now?
Stick with the Lakers. Do I feel great about it? No, but I'll stick with the Lakers.
All right, couple tweets. You could always tweet us. I'm at one Tim Murray. Will is at not the Will Hill. Horses and Hockey says, glad I was listening tonight. Cashed an in-game parlay on Steph and Jimmy under PARs. Thanks, Tim and Will. Look, I wish I could take credit. It's all of my ginger brother over there. Will Hill, well done, sir. You cashed a nice 11-1 parlay tonight. So well done by you. Great angle as the game was starting to get out of hand, and we assumed, and I wouldn't say flat out assumed, we had a good hunch that Steve Kerr, knowing his players, would rest Jimmy and Steph Curry, and that's exactly what happened. And you asked the question, middle of the third quarter, there was a media timeout, and you said, is this it? Are they done? And that was the spot that they were done for the game. So really good job by you, and boy, glad to see that other people were able to cash some unders from an in-game standpoint on Steph and Jimmy Butler.
Me too. That's great. It's why we do this. And I wonder, because we were just talking it through live on the air, I wonder how many other markets were available in terms of Steph, Butler, Draymond, because the whole angle is they're going to pull their guys. And if you really got greedy and wanted all the starters and all the markets, I can't even imagine what that number would have been. But you know what? Happy I was able to cash mine. Happy some other people were able to cash. Not that it didn't get tight. The fact that it got from 32 to 13 just out of nowhere with backups playing is just insane. But we hold on and we were able to cash, which is great.
Oh, you were able to cash, not me. My bet did not come home, but that's all right. I'm glad you were able to nail that big winner, and good night for you on that regard. We're going to get to our best bets here in just a moment. My guy Mike Sanford with a terrible take. Love you, Mike. Lakers are so cooked, I could hear the Nico Harrison sigh of relief. There ain't no sigh of relief for Nico, all right? You traded away Luka. Luka could go scoreless the rest of the game. He ain't getting off the hook on this one. No. You traded away a generational player for Anthony Davis. You didn't even make the postseason. So I get it. Maybe Nico's dropping you a couple bucks there, Mike. I love you, but no, it ain't happening here.
No, I mean, look, the fact, and if you want to concede anything, it's that maybe 2, 3, 5 years from now, this doesn't look like the worst trade in the history of sports, and that Luka's just never in shape, doesn't defend well enough, and there's a reason they were afraid to commit that money. The way it was carried out is just indefensible. To not shop him, to not call the Spurs and say, hey, give me all your picks for the rest of eternity, plus Castle, plus all these young players. You got to get more back from them. It was a bad trade.
All right, let's hit some best bets for tomorrow and beyond. We've obviously talked about it. Our best bets, as always, brought to you by our friends over at G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. As I look around and, paying juice is always sometimes not palatable, but I was looking around at the double result market for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, minus $5 favorite to take care of business against the Indiana Pacers. And the double result market, win game one, win the series. DraftKings, minus 185. FanDuel, minus 220. And here, a local shop, our friend Chuck Esposito from Stations Casino, minus 250. So always look around. You could save some cash. I'm going to take the double result here, Will, on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they win on Sunday. Right now, they're an 8-point favorite for game one against the Pacers, and I think they win the series. So hefty price to pay, but when I think about a series price at minus $5, minus 185, the double result, that's the way I'm going to roll. So that'll be my official play on that series. The double result, give me game one to the Cavs and the series to the Cavs at minus 185, which is available right now at DraftKings.
I like that one. I like that one a lot. I will go here with I'll go Pistons minus 2. I think that finally we get a home team winning again. They've been the better team for a large portion of this series. So I will go with the Pistons minus the 2. And you know what? I'm going to take Denver plus the 7. I just don't know that 7 points separates these teams. You're paying such a tax for the situation in this Nuggets-Clippers game. The Clippers have some demons. They've had some meltdowns against the Nuggets in the bubble. There was a Rocket series once. The Clippers just, and you know what? It's new players, all that for the most part, as the Lakers cut it to 5 here. It's new players, but that stuff hangs over a franchise, and I just don't know. Jokic, in a chance to close you out. You're going to give me 7 points. They've shot the ball better here. I'm going to take it, despite the fact that I do think the Clippers probably win and force a 7th game.
All right, there you go. Those are our best bets. As always, brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. G-Bank is upping the ante with up to a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First, new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening receive a $250 bonus. In addition, if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, you'll receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now. VSiN.com/GBank. VSIN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions do apply. 10:18 to go in the second quarter out in Los Angeles, and the Lakers have a 32-28 deficit. But right now, that price sits at the Lakers minus 3.5. So there you go, JVT. He just texted me. There you go, Will. The Lakers with a and one opportunity for LeBron James, showing a little bit of life here. And how about that? They are out to a minus 160 favorite right now against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, let's get these refs to start blowing the whistle. What are we doing? This is the Lakers, LeBron, Luka elimination game. Let's keep them around a little bit longer. Let's start blowing that whistle a little bit. Let's not be shy with it.
If David Stern was still the commissioner, you'd know, beep, it would be like 9-1 right now. We need the Lakers on a Friday night. Come on, boys and girls. You know, that's gonna be interesting, Will, when you think about it from a game time standpoint. It's gonna be well, we're putting the cart before the horse here. We know that the Warriors and Rockets are playing on Friday night. That's in the Bay. If the Lakers win this game, right now they are the betting favorite on an in-game price at minus 145, but a lot of hoops still to play. They're still trailing by 5, showing a little bit of life here. Julius Randle, by the way, with 3 fouls already in this game, much to the chagrin of our friend Zachary Cohen. But yeah, it would be, obviously it's going to go Minnesota first and then Golden State, but what time do they start those games? But man, you just watch inside, Rudy Gobert is just dominating from an offensive rebounding standpoint.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And I think you'd have to go Minnesota because it's the central time.
Yeah.
You'd have to start them early, put 7:30 or 8, and then go with the later game right around, 10:30? That's pretty late to decide to play a deciding game. But my guess would be that would be the order. It would have to be.
Yeah. All right, so Joel Cirallo will have you covered coming up next, and keeping this one close as we get another foul on the Minnesota Timberwolves. And here, man, look, we're getting a little aggressive inside. 9.5 minutes to go, 34-31, live line minus 154. All right, Lakers, let's make this thing interesting here on our way out here. Tomorrow we've got a bunch of games on the ice as well. Jonathan Davis will have a column up. He joined the show earlier today to give us his thoughts. But 4 games on the ice tomorrow night, and opportunities for Toronto, Dallas, Vegas, and Edmonton to all close out those series. Edmonton's at home, Vegas on the road there. Colorado, boy, I'll tell you this, it's funny. Couple series bets that I have, Will, I thought were off to a great start, and now Dallas, who destroyed Colorado in Game 5, I've got a Colorado series price. I need the Avs to not mess around tomorrow. They're a minus 175 favorite, so important game for me there that Colorado gets us a Game 7 in that series.
And it is nervous time for Toronto, is it not? Boy, if they ever lost again tomorrow.
Man.
But I actually think I got a feeling Toronto wins tomorrow for what that's worth.
A little plus money if you do think the Maple Leafs do take care of business. All right, that's going to do it for our show. Thanks to everyone who joined, as we were joined by Zachary Cohen in the first hour of the program, Hoops Peterson, Brittany Urton, Chris the Bear Felica, and Jonathan Davis. Thanks to Justin, our producer, everyone behind the scenes. For Will Hill, I'm Tim Murray. This has been the Ginger Power edition of VSiN Primetime. Jolton Joe Cirallo coming up next to keep you updated on what's unfolding out in Los Angeles. The T-Wolves trying to wrap things up against the Lakers.